back on the finish stand with Maarit Rossi. Maarit, you're an award-winning educator, and you're poised to win you're nominated for a really interesting prize just next week back here in Dubai. Tell us a little bit more about the adventure you've been on.
So it's a global teacher prize, and the organization behind it is Varkey Foundation.
Yeah.
And the target of the whole prize is to put the teacher's profession more in the globe, because I think what they want, if society wants to be a welfare and people have a good standard of living, they have to have a good education.
Yeah.
So that's the target, that they want to educate everywhere, better people, more educated, and teachers are the key persons on that.
And one of the key things in every country when people talk about quality education, in their minds there is a little bit of a hierarchy of subjects, and maths is right at the top of that. And I know that maths is your passion, and that you also want other people to share it as a passion, not just because it's an important subject. To do that, you've been creating a phenomenon called Path to Math. How does that work, and what might teachers be able to learn from the experience you've been having with that?
I think that math is the subject which has changed least in 100 years, and now it's time to change.
Yeah.
So I think that the best is that we put student in the center of the class, what is happening. And one thing is they have to do more learning by doing, so they can really with hands do something, or together with the material or with the tablets, but doing something. And then what one part is that they need to have social learning. So they have to discuss and debate and try to find solution, not so that the teacher is in front of the classroom and telling it. So when I go to the classroom, I give them the problem, and they are solving it by doing by hands or discussing or drawing. And then I would like to talk about interdisciplinary math. So it's big themes, something what's happening in the world, we can take it in the mathematics. So it has to be meaningful, and you have to get a positive influence when you are inside the class.
And it sounds like you're very much trying to get away from just learning about maths and start to learn to think like a mathematician. And that is a subtle difference, but a really important one.
Yeah, I think that people who are mathematical, they can manage any kind of teaching, but now I'm more concerned about 80-90% of the students, and I want them to find the beauty of the mathematics, and it's a very good tool for them when they grown up, so that they can understand the big numbers and what's happening in the world. They can analyze, they can compare, they can classify.
And when I'm working with teachers, particularly maths teachers, the challenge often presented is, we just have so much stuff to do. Mm-hmm. Where do we start? Because it's quite a mammoth vision. It's a big vision. Mm-hmm. So if you were to give some advice, and I guess you've been meeting with teachers here all week, sharing little pieces of advice, what is something manageable that a maths teacher or a maths department head can begin to get started on? What's an easy way to get into what you're thinking about with Path to Math?
For example, when I go to the school, I don't teach every day anymore, but I call to the teacher, what is the subject in the mathematics now? And they tell me, and then I begin to think how I could do it a little bit differently, not like usually books they are. So maybe last time we have a cubic meter, they have to understand how to change volumes. So I took 12 flower sticks with me, and the students have to think about first what is a cubic meter and how many corners and what you need, and they have to discover that it's 12 sticks, and we built it in the classroom so they saw the volume. And if I wanted them to change cubic meters to cubic decimeters, they understand it much better than without seeing and touching and feeling it.
And that's a huge difference. So what I'm really interested in is, you're in Finland, again, the reputation is one of, first of all, expert teachers with good financial resources to do these things. In the Middle East, have you found the context to be different, and has that opened up a new challenge as you've explained the process to local teachers here?
I think in many countries over the world, the curriculum is too tight and it's full of, like you said, things. And if it's full of things, you don't have time to think about it. So I think that you have to have time for children on their level of age to think those concepts, and then after that you can easily have practical things more. But if you start with the practice and only practice, they will begin to hate math.
Now, you've offered so much to attendees here through your stories and through sharing what you've been learning through your own programme of work. What has the experience of coming to Dubai for GESS 2016 brought you? What have been some of the surprises or even some of the benefits that you've had meeting local educators and talking to local educators about what you're doing?
I think that it's really interesting for me to learn from them and for them to learn from me. So I would like to continue this conversation and to sharing each other's how we teach and how we can learn from each other's.
Thank you very much, Maarit. And you can find Maarit and other teacher colleagues here on the Finnish stand, share stories, and I think that learning from each other is one of the most valuable things that any event like this can offer. Beyond the amazing stuff on show, we also need to have time just to think, as you put it. Thank you very much.